Slow news week, but still some stuff happened. Let's talk. What up, viewers? What up? What up? Calc Soups here, and today is Friday, April 9th, and that means it's time for a quick recap of the week in video game news. The on again, off again E3 is finally officially happening, and we have more details. So E3, the physical version had been canceled. Been canceled since last year, and we knew that they were going to do something digital and that it was going to be free, but we didn't have a lot of details. So this week, the ESA finally came out and said who the participants are, what the date range is, which I believe is June 12th to the 15th, as well as participants, which will be Nintendo, Microsoft, Capcom, Konami, Ubisoft, and a few others, as well as returning favorites like the PC gaming show and the future game show are going to happen within that same time frame. I kind of expect, am I going to expect a Devolver Digital this year? We probably expect a Devolver Digital, and it'll have a bunch of, a bunch of scenes about the pandemic and things going crazy. And I started to love the Devolver Digitals, so I'm looking forward to potentially seeing them crash E3, digital E3 this year. Moving right along, one of my most anticipated games is Deathloop, and the game, the latest game from Arcane Studios, has been delayed. It was set to come out on May 21st and has now been pushed about 4 months to September 14th. So I'm just gonna have to wait a little bit longer to live, die, and repeat. So I was very much looking forward to it. I think this is going to be one of my highlighted games in May, but it has been delayed. I assume due to kind of COVID related delays and setbacks, but I'm not exactly sure. But, I'll just have to wait a couple more months. No big deal. Diablo 2 has its alpha going on this weekend, which has allowed us to see some side-by-side comparisons, which I always enjoy. So GameSpot has a video that I'll have a link down below in the description for you to check out. It's so funny. I actually read an article this week. I think it was a Polygon article or a PC Gamer article. I can't quite remember. Talking about how it was just kind of an interesting article talking about how like your perception at the time that you played the game is that there isn't much difference. Like, sure, if you put Diablo 2 and Diablo 2 Resurrected side by side on the screen, they're going to look vastly different. But at the time, like, you would think, you remember Diablo looking very similar. And that's kind of what I saw in the gameplay comparison as well, is like all the sounds are the same, all of the looks are the same, just with higher graphics. And so so it kind of took me out of it, a game that I was looking forward to potentially playing, and I can still be convinced to play it with my friends. I'm no longer quite as much looking forward to, because I played the game, and something like making it slightly more defined might not always add a lot to it. So just some kind of thoughts about the Diablo 2 alpha. Let me know what you think down in the description below. Video games have gone mainstream this week on the Tonight Show with Jimmy Fallon. He streamed for the first time a stream of Among Us, and he had some big Twitch influencers with him, as well as some of the Stranger Things cast members, and they all did it for Feeding America. I believe the whole stream was kind of as a charity for Feeding America, which is a great cause. So yeah, I thought it was a really cool event. I'm looking forward to seeing. I also say that games have become more mainstream because I think they are becoming, when big events happen, or big games happen, like, people get involved, and it's good to see kind of Among Us being played on a popular late night talk show. So yeah, I think it's a good thing for the industry, and I'm excited to see it happen more and more, especially with Among Us and the AOC stream, as well as anybody else. I just like seeing kind of the bridging the gap between video games, mainstream, potentially politics, and all that kind of stuff. So exciting to see. I'll have a link down to the full thing down below. The Council of American and Islamic Relations is calling for for the first-party vendors, so Steam, Xbox, and PlayStation. They're calling for them to take down the game or not list the game 6 days in Fallon. I happened to see gameplay of it the other day, and I didn't think too much of it at first, but just watching someone kind of break it down and how insulting and kind of really egregious and violent it is. The fact that you're just like procedurally generating houses for you to invade, and it was just really sickening. So I'm fully in support of the CAIR, and calling for the platforms to not sell the game. I think that's like a good plan of action. If you can't stop the game, stop it from getting into people's hands by asking them to, by pleading with these big companies to not do it. So I'm really interested to see what will come out of this, and I hope that kind of some of the big publishers or the big platforms follow through and don't. So I'm with the CAIR, and I think it's a really gross game. I think it's a dumpster fire, and it's propaganda, and I think it should be taken down by any means it just glorifies something that I don't think needs to be glorified. I just think it's really gross. So I hope that something happens there. Moving right along, don't want to bring down the mood too much, but do want to talk about some things that are important from time to time. Don't Nod is now a third-party publisher. So Don't Nod, the developer behind Life is Strange series, has now taken it upon themselves to become a video game publisher. They are working with a developer, Portaplay Games, and they're going to be distributing it themselves. So I think Don't Nod probably has a pretty good platform to kind of build off of. I think they have a pretty good community, and so I think having them on the box or digitally involved will be helpful to developers, and more competition is always better. So looking forward to seeing Don't Nod being one of my favorite developers. Looking forward to seeing kind of their adventure into publishing. Lego has done something weird. I don't know quite how to describe it. I also think that potentially I need to have a brand partnership section of the gaming news, just because every once in a while I feel like I'm talking more and more about weird brand partnerships from time to time, just because it's kind of fascinating to me. But what I was getting at is Lego is combining or partnering with Adidas to make shoes. I have a joke about how shoes made out of Legos probably aren't the best, especially when everyone knows the pain and horror and torment that comes with stepping on a Lego. But no, the idea is that there's like the Lego, I don't know what the puffs out are called, but you're able to like customize the shoe by like putting pieces on top of it. It's actually a really unique idea, and something I'd actually like to see kind of in person and check out and see how it works. But I think it's a very interesting partnership with Lego and Adidas, and I'm hoping to see kind of what comes out of that. Ring Fit, that thing you bought at the beginning of the pandemic and that you no longer play with, is still sitting there judging you silently in your living room, much like mine is. But something that is coming out of that is that there's going to be a Ring Fit mat, so like a yoga mat that you can play Ring Fit on. I use my own yoga mat, but I think it'd be kind of cool to have a branded Ring Fit mat that I do Ring Fit on whenever I get back into doing Ring Fit. And the yoga mat's only like $60, so not going to break the bank, not even the most expensive Nintendo accessory I've ever seen. So, I think that's cheaper than Joy-Cons are. So just to kind of give you a sense of how much they're worth. I think a $60 mat will be will be cool and good. And the article I looked at also talked about like the technology that goes into the yoga mat and blah blah blah. But something I'm looking forward to, and I hope you are too. Check it out in the link down below. Binging with Babish, the popular nerdy YouTube channel / cooking channel, is taking on a monstrous task. This week he created the Chef's Choice platter, one of the multiple different things you can eat while playing Monster Hunter World. So in Monster Hunter World, before you go out on expeditions, you have a bunch of your cat friends cook you up a giant, robust platter meal, and Binging with Babish managed to put one together. And it's a pretty good video. It made me hungry as hell, and feel slightly inadequate in the kitchen. But I was really impressed, and I enjoy watching it. And not all the time can I talk about like Binging with Babish and his cool YouTube video about gaming. So I thought it was a really cool thing. I really like Monster Hunter World. As much as gratuitous as some of the eating scenes are, I did enjoy kind of watching someone put it together in real life. Last but not least, Exploding Kittens, one of the most popular Kickstarters ever, is now coming to the Switch. So the digital board games have been coming to the Switch for some time. I think Ticket to Ride and Catan are already on there. Carcassonne, I think, are already on the Switch. So, digital board games aren't anything new to the Switch. But Exploding Kittens, you can now play, pass the bomb around with your friends on your Switch. And, like I always say, Nintendo Switch is a really good kind of party game, party console, and something you can get your friends involved in. And Exploding Kittens plays a lot of players. So, pretty cool to see kind of how this works. You can play, I think, online, LAN parties, and even on a single Switch. So should be fun to kind of get my friends together and play Exploding Kittens back, or in a time in which we can get back together. That's it for the week. Hope you enjoy this. Thanks for watching this content. If you do, follow, like, and subscribe to me on YouTube and Twitch, so you can see more great content like this. I'll have a link down in the description below. I hope you have a super day. I hope you have a super weekend. And I hope you have a super day. Bye!